Alright, we're back. Alright, I looked at my seat videos I posted here yesterday, and I can see my problem is my pivot points are screwed. So as I sit on the seat, the pivot's up here, so the arc is going like this, and that gets worse the further down you go. When it was way up here an inch taller, it worked alright, but when this comes down, it moves over about an inch and it binds all the springs up. That's the bottoming feeling I'm feeling. Plus the springs are a little on the soft side for my weight, and she's not much different weight than I am, so maybe slightly lighter, but not by much. So not sure what spring that's going to be needed. So the other problem is her legs are shorter than mine, so if I move the seat back to line up the spring, it gets harder for your legs to fit on the bike. Also, the bracket here gets close to the battery. That's why I put it in this location. So it gets, you don't have a lot of room here between the battery and this, but I can move it forward a half inch if I, probably not a half inch, but a little bit. See, the belt here is in the way. So if you keep with this belt mounting system, that's your problem. So if I can redo the belt a little bit somehow, which would be a lot of work, I can probably move it forward 3/8 of an inch to maybe a half inch at max, but we're an inch off. So really something else needs to be done. So it comes down to a couple things. It's spring tension and seat location. Now this bracket here I welded on really, really good, so it's not going to just come off. So it's going to take a lot to cut that off, but if you move it back about an inch, that would take care of the problem for now at full compression. But when you're sitting on normal, it'd be too far back, so it's a trade-off. The other option is I can make a longer nose bracket here. So basically take a piece of metal, weld it to this, which will reinforce it because it is going to break here at some point. It'll also break across here because it's pretty thin. So if I take a piece of strap metal, where are they at here? Piece of strap metal, maybe not quite that thick, thicker than that. There's a good solid piece. Yeah, there you go. Yep, that's the right thickness. You weld out to the bottom of that. You can extend it back as far as you need to go. The problem is I cut these studs off so they won't hit, so that's actually going to hurt me now. I'd have to actually counterbore this down a little bit to get the nut on there. So I got an 1/8 inch of a thread there I can use. So that would be the option to use that. These are the same thickness. So that would be an option. But that moves the seat back, so I don't know about that. The other option is I can widen this out the distance I need to go back here where the spring mount is, and that would keep the seat in the same location. It'll actually make the springs a little stiffer because it changes the pivot length location, so that's all a plus. So that's probably the best option, is to do it that way. Just weld a little piece on the back of here so I can move it back that inch, and that would probably be the best way of doing it, really. I can actually bolt a little bracket onto there and bolt it there, extend it out here, weld it, and be bolted across that surface. That would raise the seat up slightly, another 1/4 inch up, which wouldn't hurt, and fix two things at once. So that's probably the best option, because I think the other springs here are just going to be too stiff, because they are a lot stiffer than those. Someone used the old cantilever springs, the ones that look like this. They hoop this way. Those are hairpin springs, they call those. Those are really stiff, so that would actually make it harder. So the best option is probably to make the bracket, to move it out further right here. That way the seat stays forward for leg length, and that's all a plus. And if that bracket breaks up there, then you reinforce it after it breaks. There's actually a lot of space up under here. We can put a little bit up under there. But it'd be stronger to weld something across the whole bottom. Probably wouldn't hurt to do that. Anyway, just to reinforce it. These things aren't made very strong aftermarket. So those are my options. So that's probably the direction I'll go, is add a bracket to the back there. So I don't really want to move the seat back any further than it is. That's why I got it way forward like it is. So if it's me riding it, it can go back further, but not building it for me. So, and the dumbasses that don't like how my wide spring mount is, I don't care. Go look at an old Indian from the 30s, 40s. They had wide spring mounting too. Harley had buddy seat springs that stuck way out here, even wider. They stuck way the hell out. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. The advantage of the wide spring mount is it gives the seat a lot more support, so it's not trying to break off by pivoting back and forth all the time. See, this seat here goes pretty strong. If this was mounted so it didn't pivot, it would hardly move at all. You know, this one's not even down all the way right now. It's up in the air slightly, but for whatever reason it's hanging up. I'm not sure why at this moment, but probably because the springs are binding it. So it gives you a lot more support with a wider dimension. And they don't like my square tubing mount. Eh, whatever. I don't care. Looks good to me. You hardly even see it when you're on the bike. So, and the other people want to hear the bike run. Why? You've already heard it run. It's not going to sound much different than what it did before. The pipes were constipated before, so it'll be slightly louder probably. Whoopee. There's no cam in it right now, so it's not like it's got any power to it. Until I put a cam in it, it's not going to make it sound any better. And the other problem is the throttle up there is non-functional. See, it's kind of not connected right now because it's screwed up. See, it's not supposed to be so stiff I can't move it, is it? Too much powder coating on the bars, so I need to do something about the throttle before I can start it. That was just the least of my problems. So there's always issues when you're working on bikes. Ignore stuff. The other issue is the ignition switch is in a bad location. This isn't exactly the safe spot to put your hand when you're running down the road. Chain bouncing around right here. The only reason it hasn't ripped the switch off is because it's eating the primary away. It has to eat this away a little bit further before it hits it. It will hit it though. And this thing hanging on the side of the bike here is not the prettiest either, so we got a plate that goes back here, which I was avoiding putting on because it's more work. Got to do the work first that needs to be done. At least this will bolt on pretty close. So that goes right there. Looks a lot better. Way better. And if it's, oh, it's going to block the sissy bar. Oh well. Is there anybody sitting on a sissy bar? It's not exactly a sissy bar you can use to sit on very much. It looks. Sissy bar is way too back to be functional. Unless you put a sofa between here and there. Most passenger seats are about this long if you haven't ever noticed. They're not 1.5 feet long. Cosmetic. And yeah, I haven't cut it off yet. Because cosmetically it looks alright. If you like sissy bars. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of a lot of stuff. Oh well. More stuff to work on. Alright, so I think I'm going to work on the throttle up in here. Deal with that. And I'll probably screw around with the seat a little bit. Figure out what I want to do. My fabrication department's lacking a little tooling right now, so it makes it hard to do fab work in here right now. But, oh well. Alright, we spent, let's see, what are those stupid handlebars I were dicked up with? Worked on for hours and hours. There they are down there. Okay. Remember how I had to fit these handlebars to make the throttle work? Spent about 2 hours doing that, and everybody, oh, I can't believe I watched a video for a half hour twice of you sanding handlebars. Well, that's what it takes to make these things work. Guess what? Oh, I got the same problem. Throttle don't work. Yeah, nobody wanted these custom handlebars or hand fitted yet from me. I don't know why. All right, so we got to figure out what the problem with this throttle. So I'm on the project job. Okay, what do you got? A straight slot screw? Wonderful. Medium screwdriver right over here. Okay. Oh yeah, that might be a problem. Okay, I think that's the problem right there. Oh yeah, it works a lot freer now. There we go, we fixed it. Just leave it off the bike. Perfect. Throttle is fixed. It's grease step 2. Grease did not help this situation any at all. This has got throttle by wire provisions. I'm guessing what that's all about. Why would anybody want throttle by wire on their custom handlebars? Stupid ass, goofy ass bike design. These are made for internal wiring too, which we don't have. Alright, so first thing I have to do is figure out how to make this throttle work on that bar. So if I had some real calipers to use, I can measure things correctly, but all I got these crappy ones. These only act about 3 thou, so that's why they're crappy. Okay, so we're about 1 14/1000 of an inch, and over here we are 18 thou. As I recall, we had to cut this one down to under 10 to make it work. Yep, we had to go down to 5. 7. There's 4 there. And over here, yep, I'm in a notch. 0, 5. Okay, so if we get down to about 5 to 7 thousandths, it'll fit. We are at 12 to 13, so I don't know if you can see that. But. Okay, so no problem. Got about 8 thou to take off. Alright, so we need to take off about 8 thou off of here. And we're going to do it the same way we did it before. Sandpaper. Actually, it's emery paper. Emery paper is cloth backed. It's made with aluminum oxide material. Clean this one. That's because it has that color to it. If you have sandpaper, it's made out of got paper on the background instead of cloth. So this is 120 grit. This one's 80 grit. This is worn out 80. This is new 120. 120 is coarser than used 120. Okay, this looks like the 2 I was using. So we're going back to these 2 papers we were using before. Okay. So we're going to have to do a lot of sanding. There we go. Put it up in the air where I can't get to it. Where's my tripod at? Whoa, it's way over there. Gotta watch out the metal when you kick your feet on that. It's only 59 degrees. It's not time to put my boots on yet. I was welding the other day without my boots on too. My feet heal better when they're not in boots. Yeah. Okay, up there. That's what we're going to work on. So first thing I do is get this sleeve right here off the vehicle so we can see what we got to work with here. Nice cables. Those are all wadded up. If your cables look like these, they're not the best. See how they're all not quite straight and true? They're all wadded up there. It's not a good sign. They're also supposed to have brass barrels in here that make the throttle work better, last longer. Obviously, they're not necessary to make it work. Okay, there's our tube. There's my dirty rag. I knew I had a dirty rag around here somewhere. Somebody, I don't know who did it, put grease in here trying to make it work easier. I don't know who would have done lubricate your parts to make them work easier. Nah, nobody would do that. Ew, my hand got dirtier using that clean rag. Let me use this clean rag here. This one's a lot cleaner than that last one. Ah, that hurts when you do that. It's fighting back. Okay, there's our tube. It's good right here. There, it gets worse. Okay, that is... There, now it's all the way on. Oh, it doesn't move at all now. Okay, somebody said to put tape on there. I don't have any tape. There I got packing tape. That way I don't screw up the powder coat where you can see it like I really care. So we'll go ahead and put some tape over here to pacify you people that don't like how I do things, because I don't really care about finishes that much. Alright, oh what a mess. I think I screwed up the tape dispenser. Alright, you happy? Screwed up my tape dispenser. I'm going to redo it. There we go. Look at that. I'm an expert at doing that. Okay. That was a two-handed throttle. Okay, there's our tape mark. Don't go past it. Remember that. Okay, where's my stuff at? Now all that grit's going to go on top of my throttle down here, which I don't want to do. For my throttle. I need a throttle. I'm dumbasses around here. There's a foot peg. Here's a foot peg protecting device. Perfect. How's that look? Maybe I could sell that for $5 on Amazon. Foot peg protector. Make my $1 million doing that. Sure ain't doing videos. Okay. So we got our 120. We got our 80. Ooh, this is 80 when it's over here. Oh, that is good. This is, here's the difference. Worn out, fresh. That's good stuff. The only problem is we can't use the fresh. That's where I hold on. Okay. Oh, it does right there, it does. Wheels moving. Taking the tape off. Tape line's not strong enough. Taking it off. Oh, too far. Oh, geez, I might have marked up the tape one. Oops. Oh well. There might be a slight mark on there. That's going to take a while. There you go. I'll be back in a while. I got some sanding to do.